Authority, Use and Misuse, Chapter 5. Different Forms of Authority. Max Weber has classified types of human authority as traditional, charismatic, and legal/rational. Traditional authority is what has come about as the result of long-standing custom. Charismatic authority is due to the dynamic personality of a leader. Legal/rational authority is where the authority rests in a person's position rather than in him. In order to understand different ways in which authority works out in practice, let us look at a few scenarios. We could perhaps say that in a few areas of human life, it is the order and practical working out of tasks that matter, without any reference to personal relationships among the people. An example is bureaucracy. But in other areas such as family and church, human relationships matter a lot. At the same time, we recognize that while this is true in theory, every area of human interaction is in practice affected by personalities and interpersonal relationships. Authority of position. Bureaucracy is characterized by hierarchy, where each layer reports to the layer above and each layer has authority over the layer below. Work is supposed to get done methodically, objectively, and in an impersonal manner, and the system is designed to achieve that goal. Since each layer reports to the one above, checks are also in place to see that things get done properly. But what happens in reality is that people have their personal agendas and therefore love of money, ambition for going up the ladder, favoritism, etc. corrupt people's functions. However, the point we need to take from this example is that these kinds of hierarchical systems are designed in this way to ensure their smooth and safe working. The judicial system. The operation of the judicial system is also meant to be impersonal, aiming only at arriving at impartial and objective judgments. One thing to be especially noted here is that judgments are to be based entirely on evidence and application of the law, to the extent that even when circumstances point to the conviction of a person, he is sometimes set free based on absence of sufficient evidence. Sometimes criminals go free and at other times innocent people are convicted. But that is a limitation of the system rather than a fault in its delivery. Military authority. One outstanding character of authority in military setups is the emphasis on rank and the unquestioning obedience demanded from lower ranks. Any defiance of this authority will be made subject to court-martial. From the time one joins the military, this is drilled into the minds of the people. Even through the rigors of physical training, one goal is to break the mental resistance to authority. The expectation is that in times like war, the commanders can be assured of compliance from the soldiers to whatever decisions are taken, because there is no time for discussions or arguments. Obviously, this system is designed for warlike operations and is not suitable for normal life where individuals and their opinions matter. Authority of the police. The authority of the police is similar in terms of hierarchy to the military, but the difference is that they have to interact with outside people. Criminals, victims, family members of convicts, mass behavior in public, etc. And here they have to bring together the enforcement of the law as well as humane attitudes towards those who are being victimized. The enforcement of the law has to be carried out on one side without partiality towards the rich or the powerful, but those who are suffering are to be treated with understanding or even compassion. Of course, when the police are enticed by the love of money or controlled by unscrupulous politicians, the system fails to punish the guilty or to deter others from breaking the law. Charismatic authority. This is where people submit to those who have a strong charismatic personality in fields such as politics or religion. Because they create an artificial aura around them by the way they talk and conduct themselves, many people begin to follow them. Some of the people become willing to blindly follow whatever these leaders tell them, even to the extent of committing suicide for them. Perhaps people follow these leaders because they think that these leaders are the Messiah or Savior they were waiting for, because they are hoping for advancement for themselves in position by being their followers, or because they fear some calamity if they left them. But most such charisma-based followings dissipate after the time of the leader. Earned authority. Some people gain respect from others by the way they demonstrate their concern and care for others and serve them. This was how Jesus gained his followers. There have been, thankfully, many leaders in the church and also outside who have been responsible for leading their followers in a good direction. Some of the people who admire such leaders begin to follow them. The authority these leaders have has been earned and not imposed on others. Unfortunately, some of these leaders begin to allow this power to go to their heads, and power corrupts. Concluding this section, it is easy to see that it is one thing to theoretically describe how things ought to be and another thing to see it in practice. This is because imperfect human beings are involved. We are all influenced by sinful desires within ourselves, the culture we have grown up in, the experiences that have shaped our thinking, the values we believe in, the prominence we give to what others think about us, etc. There are challenges we all face, both in exercising authority over others as well as in submitting to others. The ultimate standard for authority and submission comes from God. The more we get to know Him and His ways, His Spirit is able to transform our attitudes and ways of looking at people and circumstances.